Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into Good Morning Lambeau. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824 here on this Monday, January 6th, also known as Black Monday, as the coaches will be looking to going to be some coaches get canned today, some GMs get canned today. And as Tim just pointed out, we got news that the Giants are keeping everything intact. So, yeah, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, right, Tim?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hey, job security in New York. Go get a job with the Giants. No matter what you do, you stay employed.
No doubt about that, man. That kind of, to me, day ball I get, but watching that Hard Knocks behind the scenes with the Giants and the decision they made and the reason they made that decision to move on from Saquon Barkley was like, hey, we got our quarterback in Daniel Jones. We need to build around him. And the running back is not, that's just not important right now. Saquon goes on a rush for 2,000 yards, and Daniel Jones is in Minnesota. Like, whoa, boy, y'all stuck to your guns, didn't you? My goodness.
And that guy keeps his job. I love it.
Yeah, it's insane. But again, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today, guys. There's multiple directions we could go. I do not want to just pass up on this Bears game. I know there's a lot of fans that just want to move on, but there's something to be learned from that game. Now, with that being said, I want to throw this out there too. When we talk about this game and we point out what went wrong, it's going to look like, man, Clayton's being overly negative. No, we're going to talk about what happened and why did it happen. It's important to understand exactly what happened in that ballgame. But I do want to throw this out there before we even get started. And Tim, you correct me if there's somebody I'm missing. I would not be surprised if there is. We were out cornerback Jair Alexander, your best corner, right? We were out safety Evan Williams, your starting safety. We're out linebacker Quay Walker, your starting Mike Backer, your green daughter, right? You were out wide receiver Romeo Doubs, arguably your number one receiver, although we look at number one receivers much different than other people, right? When I say number one receiver, I mean he's probably your go-to guy. Probably is. It's between him and Christian Watson, in my opinion. And some would say it's Jaden Reed. I understand what you're saying, but he plays slot. That's totally different position, right? And then safety Zane Anderson, who many people think is the third best safety on this roster. You were down him as well. Now, who left the game? You pulled Josh Jacobs after only 6 carries. Quarterback Jordan Love leaves, and I think it was the second quarter. Jordan Love leaves with the injury. Christian Watson left. Was it before that? Yeah. You had Watson get hurt at the 10-second mark in the first quarter, and then less than 3 minutes later, you had Jordan Love leave with the elbow injury. So, is that an excuse? If you want to say that I'm making excuses, that's totally cool. I think that's a fair argument, but I'm not going to just tell part of the story because I'm seeing the Matt LaFleur slander. I'm seeing the Brian Gutekunst slander. I was listening to a show just now, and I was cracking up because it was literally one call was, if Kyle Shanahan was the head coach, you win that game yesterday.
Kyle Shanahan was the coach, we would not be in the playoffs, and that game would have meant nothing. I mean, how did the Niners do this year?
Right. Kyle Shanahan, one caller said, if Kyle Shanahan was the coach, you win that game. And then the very next caller said, man, there ain't nobody that can win with Jordan Love. And it's like, one was defending Matt LaFleur saying Jordan Love is trash. The other was was basically saying that Matt LaFleur is trash. And I'm like, you're both wrong. Like, what are we talking about here? So anyway, I want to key in on the factual aspect of that game, though. I don't want to get into all this, everybody being emotionally charged and fire this guy, fire that guy. Facebook is hilarious, man. I'm telling you, Tim, you're not on Facebook. God bless your soul. You're not missing anything because there are some of the absolute worst football takes I've ever seen in my whole life on Facebook.
Really?
You think Twitter's bad? Bro, trust me, Facebook is like, whoa. You look at some of that stuff and you're like, these people don't have a clue what they're talking about. And I know this much, right? But these people, and it's like, they're so they're I don't know, they're just so confident in their ability to show how ignorant they are with exactly what's happening on the. It's wild. It's my, I got buddies that are big car guys. This is a good example, right?
Mhm.
I got a close friend, Eric. He's a car guru. It would be like me going over to his garage. What the hell you doing with that? Yeah. I don't know what you're doing over there, do you? Yeah. That's obviously the alternator. Damn tire wheel laying off to the side. You know what I mean? It's like, that's what it's the equivalent to. And I would never try to put myself in a position where, man, I'm going to get embarrassed because I know I'm being dishonest and pretending like I know what I'm talking about. You know what It's just wild. It's absolutely wild, man. But anyway, got the chat filling up. Everybody in here. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to Drake Jackson. He re-upped his membership. If I seen it says new member, but on my phone it said, when I get the notification, it said he re-upped. So good stuff there, Drake. And also I seen Drake found the emojis too.
Here we go.
I was waiting to see who found them. It didn't take long. I upgraded the emojis yesterday. So if you are a YouTube member, you have special access to emojis. And you've seen some of those bangers in here. Now, it doesn't show us which emoji you're posting on StreamYard, but on the YouTube stream, they show up. And I think it was actually Drake that shared a couple earlier. He shared them all. Matter of fact, got it all out of his system. We had like 5 emojis. So, again, thank you, Drake, for being a member, re-upping there. Let's see. Nick McSwain saw a post on Reddit about the 2025 schedule. People are already dooming over next year. LOL. Someone said the Packers would have 10 losses. Man, just it's wild out there. Joyce Martha in the chat. Good to see you. She says, good morning, everyone. Listening to the post game now. I just was not able to listen to anything about the game. I am one of those fans that never want to lose to the Bears. Feeling better this morning. Amen to that, Joyce. You know, that's, if you guys could see the numbers, the podcast numbers, after a loss, I mean, they go in the tank. I'm the same way. I don't want to listen to 2 or 3 different opinions of why the Packers lost. I find myself the entire time in a podcast going, that's not true. That didn't really happen. They're just, some of this overly emotion, in the fan base, it's definitely fueled by some people who do shows. And listen, it sells, right? It's tip your cap to them. So, let's see what else we got in here. Anthony in the chat says, football is a wonderful game. Sometimes it's just not your day, but it's a new season. 0-0. Anything can happen. That's the beauty of football. Amen to that. Love.
Cheers to that, Anthony. I agree. That's a cup of coffee salute to that. The funny thing is right now, everybody's 0-0. Your regular season record means absolutely nothing. Your reputation means absolutely nothing. Every single team left in the mix right now, if you lose, your season's over. So I don't care how much of a powerhouse you've been all year. We see it every year. Every year, some team that's predicted to win it all gets bounced in the first round. And you never know. Could be Philly this weekend, courtesy of the Packers. So stay positive. I love it.
And again, I want to go back to the players that were missing. If you're one of those fans, and it's probably on the pod, it probably ain't in the YouTube chat, but if you're one of those fans that's like, the fact that you're missing 5 starters and then you lost 3 more starters, so you're down 8 starters by halftime, right? Mm-hmm. If you're one of those fans that say, that doesn't matter, blah, 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 okay, show me the ticket. Show me the stub where you bet money on the Packers to win, and I want to know how much you bet. Right? Yeah. Show me the live bet too, because there was at one point the Packers were plus whatever it was. It's like, holy cow, yeah. I want to see the proof. Show me the proof. Put your money where your mouth is, right? And don't just be kind of that, I don't know, that Monday morning quarterback type, It drives me crazy. But, love what Anthony says here, though. Again, man, and it's all about proper expectations. Like, there's some people I've seen out on Facebook, someone posted, last year we were 1 year away, and now we're 1 to 2 years away again, is what people are saying. Bro, anybody is 1 year away. Like, you can have anything go, one season go perfectly right, and bang, you run away with it. How many times have we seen that? The wild card team run off and win the Super Bowl, right? The Packers did it in 2010. Yep. It doesn't mean it's highly likely. Like, when someone says you're 1 year away, you guys know that's what I've been saying this year. Like, going into the year, it's like, again, 10 to 13 wins. We finished at 11, right? So would you have liked to got to 13? Absolutely. But the fact that we're 1 win over what we expected, and you had to start a backup who came in and won you a couple games. That's the other thing too. When you look at Jordan Love's numbers, is like, it's showing he played in 15 games, But keep in mind, he was pulled early in 2 of those 15. So it's really 13 full games for him this season if you look at the numbers and try to figure out, okay, why are the numbers down from a yardage standpoint? But that's why EPA and these other metrics I think are so important. But, yeah, 0-0, baby, starting the playoffs. I'm excited to see what they can do against Philly. If you got to get people healthy, though, you do. If you're going to be without Alexander, which we are, let's say Evan Williams can't play, Quay can't play, Romeo Doubs will be back, and let's say Zane's back. If you're down those 2 starters to Philly, and now Watson's probably going to be out, and we haven't heard anything on that front yet. If you're down Watson and 3 of those 5 that didn't play, do you think you should go and put money on the Packers to win? Probably not. Does it mean they can't win? No, it don't mean that. It means they could come out there with the perfect scheme and light it up and surprise the hell out of the Eagles. But if you're not willing to put money on the game where your mouth is and go, hey, here's my stub, I put 1,000 on the Packers to lose, right? Then don't come at me going, like all negative. It goes both ways, both win or loss, right? It's just you've got to put it into perspective. You got to.
Those are the same type of fans that will try to, when we get a win, they'll find reasons to, point out flaws in the win and why, well, that wasn't a good enough win. We only won by a field goal or, right. And then they'll downplay a win and then they'll overreact to a loss. And I think you're right, Clay. It's tough to deal with. It's the loud minority of the fan base, I think,
right.
that has that attitude. I don't think it's most Packer fans.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's people going, well, why are you guys talking about it? I'm going to explain to you why I'm talking about it. Because I want you to know there is a larger portion of the fan base that is very realistic. And we look at what's actually going on in the game as opposed to just reacting emotionally, right? Yep. And there's a place for you here. Like we can act like adults and go through and look at what happened, why did it happen, what are the proper expectations, what are we to expect this offseason, all that stuff, right? Everything's about trying to project into the next stage that you're in. Like we're in the playoffs right now. We're immediately going to shift gears after the playoffs into the re-signing period and the restructure period. And then we're going to go into free agency, obviously, and the draft prep and all that stuff simultaneously. But yeah, what Prince says here, though, morning gents, got to admit it was really tough seeing Watson carted off. His reaction did not look positive. I completely agree. And then Prince went on to say, then the network saying his return was questionable. I've seen that.
Hilarious.
Like, what?
What are you watching?
Yeah.
I mean, you can put 2 and 2 together, right? He limped into the blue tent, came out of the blue tent, went right to the cart with his head in his hands, and certainly doesn't look good. But, I'll tell you one thing. As much as we talk about Christian Watson, this is not his first rodeo. So I'm fully confident that whatever the injury is, he's going to work hard to get back from it. And let's leave the doom and gloom alone for now. Assume that we're probably not going to have him going forward in the playoffs, but doesn't mean it's over with for him. So prayers up for Scoot for sure. Yeah.
And listen, people try to be divisive in the fan base, and they're, well, Romeo Doubs is the number one because he's more reliable than Christian Watson. Boys, I hate to break it to you, but Christian Watson played in 2 more games than Romeo Doubs.
I was just going to say he's been more available than Rome this year. So that argument falls on his face.
Exactly. And the big thing with Christian, man, he hands down was our most explosive receiver. His yards per reception was 21.4 this year. Wild statistic there. So obviously when he's available, one of the best in the game. And that's what you're looking for is those big chunk plays, those explosive plays that triples your chances of scoring on that current drive. But it was weird, Prince. I noticed the same thing. And I don't know if they got that from the coaching staff, and that could have been Matt just going, somebody asked him on the sideline, hey, we need this. Because that is for live betting. They do try to give an injury status really, really quick. I could see Matt just being like, that's just questionable, whatever. I don't know. Yeah. And went on to the next thing. It's
probably the safe way. If you're going to assume anything in that situation, you would probably just go there, right? Hey, he's questionable until we hear otherwise. And then we did later on. We heard otherwise. So
right.
Sucks.
Yeah, it does. It sucks for us. And again, you can tell how much it meant to him too, man. He's become a leader in that locker room. He really has, especially with those wide receivers. I mean, the way that he kind of held Romeo accountable when all that stuff was going down with the suspension, and then was there loving on Romeo too at the end. When he came back, it's like he was that leader. Like, yeah, man, he said something in the locker room to a sense of like, he didn't say anything personally about Romeo, but it was a message of like, we've got to be one, we got to be unified type thing. And then the second Romeo's back on the field, he didn't shun him. You can see Romeo looks at Christian. I know they're the same age virtually, right?
Yep.
But you can tell he kind of looks at Christian almost like a big brother. It just seems that way to me anyway. So, so here we go. Nick McSwain, looks like the Packers finished number 6 in points per game. Tattoo win for Jacob. Jacob's busy this morning, so he couldn't make it in here. Let's go to the scoring defense, though, and just fact check this real quick.
Put that name in my mouth right there.
All right. Opponent points per game. Yes, Green Bay finishes 6th. Tim, look at this, by 0.2 of a point.
I love it.
Of course, we said top 7, so I guess if he, been in that 7 spot, it would have counted 2, right?
Yep.
Let's try to give him the benefit of the doubt. What are points per play? And I think we decided on points per game, but let's just see. Points per play, yeah, Green Bay.
Oh, we're there too. We're good.
All right, so we're going to do a live stream when we're in town for the draft of Jacob getting a tattoo there in Green Bay, so we need to find a local ink artist. Now, listen, when it comes to bets like that, if he wants to do it, cool. I'm not holding anybody to that. Not that you can anyway, right? But yeah, it would be fun if he did it though. If there's ever a guy that would go, the hell with it, I'll get that tattooed.
It's definitely Jacob.
Jacob.
Definitely. Emilio's probably already sketching out designs too.
The sombrero. Let's see here. Holmes MD one. Any news on Watson? I'm fearful he tore his ACL. That's my early guess too, and it's just a guess, Holmes. Just the way he reacted. It's a non-contact injury. It was opposite the brace side, which typically that happens when you're trying to go when you don't need to go because you're putting more pressure on the opposite knee than the one with the brace. You're trying to overcompensate. So, yeah, it sucks. Again, that's just one of those things that, some of the outcry, some of the criticism of Matt LaFleur and this coaching staff, it's warranted. Like it is. Like we said all week, if that dude ain't 100%, don't put him out there. And this is kind of the worst thing that could have happened, from Christian Watson's standpoint. Now, we're not
wanted to play. He was probably in their ear like, hey, I'm good to go. I want to be out there. But, as a staff, as a coach, right, you kind of have that last card where you can just say, no, sit down. You're not going out there. But like I said, I think Rome being sick yesterday may have tilted the balance, and they said, let's let Christian play.
Yeah. AFM in the chat said, I had to look away watching the replay. The non-contact ones, man, when you see those, it's like, oh boy.
Yeah.
There you go. Unfortunately, I've gotten really, really good at spotting ACLs. Now, this may not be an ACL, but I'd say I'm batting about 800 when I see a non-contact and it's specific. Sometimes they grab their ankle, it's different, or you see their ankle will pop or the Achilles will pop. But boy, when that ACL goes, it's just like no bend in the leg, immediately keep it in the position it's in and go straight to the ground. But again, man, Christian,
if it is worst case scenario, there's anyone that can rehab it and be ready to roll next season, it's Christian Watson. I've got full faith in him being able to recover.
Mm-hmm. Harry Cheese in the chat said, "Oh, you can hold someone to the bet, not entirely legal, but you can do it." So we're gonna have to tranquilize Jacob, and he'll wake up in the tattoo shop strapped to the
that ain't no problem,
to the bench.
That ain't no problem.
Well,
all right, let's see. Let's just take a quick rundown here, Tim. I wanted to look at where we finished on the year in terms of points per game. We won't go into all the statistics. We'll try to hit a few. So according to this and teamrankings.com, the Packers finished, what was that? All right, the Packers finished, 27.2. Okay, we finished 8th in points per game. All right, now let's put that into perspective from last year because, you kind of try to compare them year to year. Last year, guess what, Tim? We were 8th. So we're right where we finished last year offensively, which is a top 10 scoring offense. Now, when we let's go to rushing offense, yards per rush attempt. In 2024, Green Bay finished 6th in the league at 4.7 yards per carry, yards per rush attempt. All right, now let's see where we were at in 2023 with Aaron Jones here. We were not actually tied for 7th at 4.4. All right, so there's the comparison there. Let's go to passing offense, yards per pass attempt. In 2024, Green Bay finished 4th in the league at 8.2 yards per pass attempt. So again, 4th in 2024. In 2023, Green Bay was not. So the passing game improved this year by about 5 ranking spots. So that's great news, right? To see, again, the offense get a little bit better this year in terms of overall passing. And I think rush too is there. So again, that's just to kind of keep our eye on. All right, did we progress? Did we not progress? Right now, let's go to scoring defense. Let's go opponent points per play. That's my favorite metric. 2024, we finished 6th with 0.326. In 2023, we finished 12th at 0.334. So the defense, scoring defense, definitely got better this year. Significantly. You went from 12th to, again, what was that, 4th, I believe? Let me see here. Go down to 4. Yeah, you went from 12th to 6th. Sorry, 12th to 6th in opponent points per play this year. Guys, you jumped 6 spots in overall scoring defense this year. Tip your cap to Hafley. I'm going to criticize him here in a minute, right? And we're going to talk about why, but doesn't mean he's perfect. But boy, oh boy, that's a significant jump in scoring defense for sure. Let's go to rushing defense, Tim. I feel like this is the one that we kind of leaned on all year long. It was like, wow, we got significantly better. We finished 3rd in rushing opponents rush per attempt with 4 yards per carry. All right. And then in 2023, so again, we were 3rd this year. Last year, the Green Bay Packers were 25th at 4.5. So the run defense went from bottom 3rd to top 3, basically. So tip your cap to Jeff Hafley for that. Great job there. Passing defense. This was something that took a step back last year. Let's see where we finished this year. Yards per pass attempt. Green Bay finished tied for 10th at 6.5 with Minnesota, believe it or not. And are they ahead of Detroit? Where's Detroit? Detroit's 22nd. Wow. So again, the Packers are 11th or 10th. I'm sorry, top 10 in passing defense. And last year, the Green Bay Packers were in passing defense 18th. So another significant step forward. So what you've seen here, Tim, and the reason I want to point that out is the defense in pretty much every metric. The offense kind of hovered around the same spot. Yeah. Improved significantly in certain aspects, right? But the defense was just across the board. Bang, 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 bang. So
and we went from a 9-win team to an 11-win team. You know, a couple more wins. So another trend in the right direction. And I think you're right. A lot of that's due to the changes on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah. Now, in terms of takeaways per game, this year we had 1.8 takeaways per game. And in 2023, we know where this is going to be. We'll just go ahead and scroll all the way to the bottom. In 2023, we were at 1.1. We were tied for 22nd. So huge jump. You go from 22nd. The most important statistic in the entire game of football is turnovers, protecting the football and taking the ball away. We literally went in 2023 from 22nd to, again, 4th in the league at 1.8. So Jeff Hafley, great job. Man, what a hire. Knocked it out of the park, right? Now, it helps when you go out and sign Xavier McKinney. You draft Evan Williams. You draft Edgerrin Cooper. Edgerrin Cooper's really starting to step into his own now. Matter of fact, I've got a tweet we'll hit on there with him in just a second. Before I move on, though, Tim, while I got this pulled up, is there any other metric you'd like to see? Let's look at the giveaways because that's important too, right? Let's see how many giveaways we finished with because we were pretty bad at turning the ball over this year. Let's see.
11. Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. Giveaways. I hate how this thing's stuttering. They got to try to sell me on those cheap sweaters though. You know what I mean? Lord knows I'm going to click on that and go, boy, that thing's fire. Let's go pick one of those up. Right. But yeah, Green Bay finishes 11th in giveaways this year. Let's see if they got better or worse. I feel like they got worse, but I could be wrong. Yeah. Last year we were 8th, actually 7th. So we dropped a few spots. So we got a little bit worse at giving the ball away. We got crazy significantly better at taking the ball away. But anything you want to hit here, Tim, before I move on, man?
Yeah, those are the two stats if you want to beat the Eagles, right? Don't turn the damn ball over and create turnovers on the defensive side of the ball. We've got to be in the plus category there when it comes to turnovers. So, and that could be one of those things that, allows us to have a shot to beat a team like Philly is if you get a takeaway and you get points off of it. You can tilt the balance because, I don't think anyone believes the Packers are going to beat the Eagles except for the Packers and maybe me. I guess. I kind of feel alone right now. Everyone's kind of doom and gloom. I think there's a chance, but it's going to take, the simple basic thing. Don't turn it over and try and get some turnovers. We got to protect that football on offense, and on defense, we have to get some takeaways, man. We've got to rally to that ball and create some turnovers.
Yeah, for sure, man. All right, there's your team rankings. Again, overall, team got significantly better this year. There's no two ways about it. And like Tim said, it's reflective in the record there, winning 2 more games than you did last year for sure. Yep. And now let's move on to Twitter. We'll kind of talk about a few tweets that came out, and then we're going to hit on a little bit of film too, which we'll actually get to that right here as well, I'm pretty sure. But let me get this set up for us here. All right, so this was cool. PFF Green Bay Packers tweeted this out. No linebacker has graded out higher than Edgerrin Cooper over the last 4 weeks. So you've seen the last quarter of the season, Edgerrin Cooper is the highest graded linebacker in the entire National Football League. So what does that mean? To me, like I said here, you got your middle linebacker of the future. It doesn't mean you don't bring Quay back. They may love Quay and go ahead and sign him. If anything, it gives you a little more of a leash to Quay, because Edgerrin Cooper is on such a low deal, Yep. He's going to be making, what is it? He's a second-round pick. I imagine he's probably going to be making around $2 to $3 million per, and you've got your middle linebacker of the future. So what I want to see, we still haven't heard if he wore the green dot or not, Tim. I didn't have time to go combing through the pictures.
I couldn't see. I tried to check the photos. I didn't see anything.
We'll probably find out, I'm sure, in the next presser. That'll be one of the first things they ask, because with Edgerrin Cooper playing the majority of the linebacker snaps, would kind of suggest that was the case. But like other people had mentioned in the chat last night, it could have been Xavier McKinney as well. So
that would be the icing on the cake, though, if in fact Cooper is wearing the green dot, right? If he's taking on that kind of responsibility that quick and playing well, that's a positive sign for your future.
Yeah. And again, the early PFF grades, which they're, subject to change as they go through and come back through and double check them. Carrington Valentine graded out as an 80. Again, you're probably going to see Carrington Valentine's name mentioned in a similar light for the last 2 to 3 games. So you got these guys peaking at the right time. I'm really excited about those two. I think those are 2 defenders, like I said last night. Unless something goes crazy wrong, you're going to look up in 2 to 3 years and go, there's the cornerstone of your defense, is that middle linebacker, and you got a corner that's we talked about the stat that we highlighted just the other morning here, is the new lockdown percentage, right? Which would suggest that Carrington Valentine's top 10. The lockdown percentage of 72.73. That's literally less than 3% below Brian Branch. And Brian Branch, you guys know, was a first or a second round pick, right? He was taken pretty high. Trent McDuffie in Kansas City, one of the top corners as well. So Jeremy Chin, Washington safety. Quinyon Mitchell down there. Quinyon Mitchell was our top corner in the draft according to our board. Yep. Carrington Valentine beat him by roughly 4% in lockdown percentage this year. So it's not to say that Quinyon Mitchell won't be a better corner from here moving forward, but when you got a 7th round pick that's giving you that kind of production, really, really impressive. So excited about those.
They crushed it over there, right? Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell.
Oh, nailed it. Yeah, nailed it.
Great work there in Philly.
Yeah. Just a little news off the side here. I'm going to comb through my Twitter in real time here. ML Football said, congratulations to Aaron Rodgers on one of the greatest careers ever. And they listed all the accolades. Said, if this is it, it's been one hell of a ride from a guy who started at a local community college. He didn't get one Division I offer, right? It's a wild part of his story too. How many times have you heard that, right? So again, Aaron Rodgers, decent chance that he hangs it up. Jay Glazer doubled down on Fox NFL yesterday. Basically said, they said his future was up in the air. He said, I still believe Aaron's done. My sources are telling me he's going to retire. Now, Aaron said,
watched that game yesterday. It certainly looked like Aaron Rodgers' last game, didn't it?
It did, man. It did. Yeah. It felt like it. 4 touchdown passes, 1 interception, had a great game. So shout out to 12. Excited about having him come back. And obviously let's hang that 12 in the rafters up there at Lambeau. Let's put that 12 up on the facade. Malik Willis, I thought this was a really classy tweet he put out after the game. More than grateful for the opportunity to glorify God once again. Got to bounce back. quote, scripture, therefore do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. That's a Matthew 6:34 verse there. And he said, thank you, Jesus, win, lose, or draw. I love it, man. Love
Amen.
it.
Something a lot of these fans should pay attention to. Yeah. Can you be grateful, win, lose, or draw, no matter what, for what you have in this life? Malik Willis, man, that guy's got everything in perspective. And I think that's why it's so fun to just not only watch him play the game, but just get to see what type of leader he is at such a young age too, such a young player in this league. And you're right, Clay, man, that's going to be a guy that the league is going to want to snatch up for their quarterback room. So I
think so too.
Proud that he's a Packer for the time being.
I did crack up a couple times yesterday, though. Every time they showed his face up close and that gator was sideways, right? It was kind of kicked sideways and part of his hair hanging out. And I put a tweet out and was like, this reminds me of my uncle right before we're going on a hunting trip. We're leaving at 4 a.m. to hit the trail, and he's already soused. That's what it looked like. And let's go, boys. Get on the wheeler. Let's get up in the holler here. Those squirrels are going to be jumping. So, yeah. Willis, though, what a godsend he's been. It's been a blast watching him play. Hopefully he's back next year as the backup, like I said, unless someone offers a first-round pick. That shot he threw to Malik Heath, if we have time, we're going to hit that here in a minute. Boy, that was a fun play. And Malik Heath with the strong hands. So this play here, let's focus on one of the negatives real quick, okay? And again, this is to understand what happened. Why did it happen?
We don't even have to press play on this. We can just look right here.
Right.
What the hell is that?
So this is the tweet that I put out, and I said this one is a complete head scratcher. I have ever seen this play call in this situation. The call is 3-man out. Why are we protecting against a Hail Mary when the Bears only need 10 yards to reach field goal range? I'm obviously no coach, but it just seemed very strange to me. So first of all, I want to be completely transparent here. When I was watching the game in real time and they showed this triple stack, that's what you're seeing down here at the bottom. You see these guys right here. That's what we call triple stack. When I seen that, my mind doesn't go to just stop them. My mind is going, how the hell would I defend that? That's tough luck. Because
I wouldn't defend it with man coverage. I'll tell you that.
I wouldn't defend anything with man coverage. That's just me. So typically what a team's trying to do in this situation is they're looking to run some kind of flood concept. And I didn't even focus on the route down here, to be honest with you, when I broke this down, because the play goes up top, right? But when you look at this with a flood concept, typically what will happen is someone will attack outside, then outside at another level, then outside at another level, right? So what you're looking to do is, if you're the Packers, the top priority on this play is keep them in bounds. Do not let them get 10 to 12 yards and get out of bounds, right? Because they're going to have time to obviously kick the field goal. Now, you're looking to funnel everything towards the middle of the field, but you don't want them to get 10 yards on this play. So that's why I don't understand the play call. When we say 3-man out, you guys will hear me say 2-man under all the time. With a 2-man under, you'll have 2 safeties up top with deep half responsibility. And you'll play underneath technique. Inside under is typically what under means. So you're basically saying, I'm going to force them to throw deep outside because I've got safety help there, right? So you're going to take all those quick releases inside away. In this case, you're playing 3-man out where you've got 3 deep zone, right, on the backside, and everybody's man coverage. But notice Carrington Valentine, he played this how they told him to play it. Now, and you go, Clayton, how do you know that? He's playing the outside half of the receiver. Yep. So he's playing with outside technique to take away any outside route. Okay. So again, he was told funnel it inside. All right. So this isn't on CV on this play. Now, how do I know that? Look at how these guys at the bottom are playing this triple stack. They're playing outside leverage.
Yep.
Right. So that tells me that this has got to be 3-man out. Now, with all that being said, how would I have called it? This is going to surprise the hell out of everybody hearing my voice right now. I would have played zone. I know that's a big shocker, but you can still give this 3-deep look and play a 3-deep zone, right? And instead of these guys shifting outside, right, you could still roll a Mabel over there. But this defender right here, Eric Wilson, should have been in the middle of the field. Should have been in the freaking middle of the field. Imagine if you play a cover 3, and this is how I would have played it, is cover 3, right? And then you could even have the safety buzz down, this safety roll over, and this guy play deep third. You're still giving that outside leverage look. So Caleb looks over and goes, oh, crap, the out's not going to be there. We need to go inside. And then as the ball is snapped, or right before the ball snapped, the safety adjusts down, right? As he comes down, then they hammer this slant. You're probably tackling him at about the 45-yard line as opposed to where he gets on this play. So we're going to roll the tape. The other thing I'm noticing here too, Tim, unless I'm missing him, where's Edgerrin Cooper?
No, he's not on the field.
They took Edgerrin Cooper off the field for the final play of the game. That's Eric Wilson in the middle. Anyway,
No.
it's just a little odd.
And Eric Wilson's not in the middle because he's in man coverage, and I'm assuming his responsibility is that Swift, the running back?
Should be the running back. Let's roll the tape. We'll find out right now. I'm going to go slow motion a little bit here so we can really dissect everything. But as the ball is snapped, I want you to notice CV up top. Let's focus on him first. That's where the ball's going, okay? Notice CV up top. Look,
Yeah.
flip to the outside.
Open. Yep.
He's funneling to the inside. Now, where's Eric Wilson going? He's immediately, like you said, Tim, he's man coverage on the running back. He's looking to protect the flat, right? Now, he's got to play it straight up. Don't get me wrong. Notice no safety buzzed. Everybody's just deep. This, I don't understand this. This makes
I
no
don't
sense.
either. You would think at least one is going to buzz down into the middle.
Yep, exactly. And here's the thing, too. Like, if you get beat deep in the middle of the field, that's okay. They're not going to have time to get to the line and spike it, most likely, right?
Right.
That's the problem there is like if you're looking at this situation, me personally, and I'm no coach, Hafley has forgotten more about football than I'll ever know. I want to put that disclaimer out there. But I imagine in this situation, it should have been, listen, guys, you cannot let them get out of bounds, right? But we can't just give the middle of the field open. So when they came out in a triple stack look, right, did we have any timeouts, Tim?
I believe we had 3 timeouts.
Yeah. And well, I think we called it.
Two. We called one. That's right.
Called
Which-
a timeout.
Which
right
makes
before.
this more disgusting because they came out in that triple stack. They came out in the same play before the timeout. We call a timeout, apparently made some adjustments, came out in this.
Yeah. So
I don't get it.
I don't either. And again, you've got some fans going, I think they didn't want to put too much on tape and they want to kind of, and it's hard for me to argue with that because I know how smart this coaching staff is.
Yep.
Like they're unbelievably intelligent when it comes to football, right? But I can't come up with a reason of why you would play 3-man out in a situation where if you give up 10 yards quickly, they're going to spike the ball and kick a field goal. It just makes no sense.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it really is terrible. So let's watch the bottom, though, and see if we can kind of see what these guys are doing. So you see they're playing catch man at the bottom. And the way it's typically designed is whichever receiver breaks outside, you see Eric Wilson's man coverage on the flat, right? So from Chicago's standpoint, it's real simple. Take a peek here. If they drop in the zone, they probably would have hammered the flat and then tried to get one more play. But again, with one more play, if they get tackled in bounds, there's no time to stop the clock. So It is what it is. But with catch man, it's probably designed that each of these defenders, whoever goes outside, if they do some kind of switch release on this flood concept or they throw a will in, then this guy right here is going to pick up the outside. It's basically inside, outside, inside on the concept. So it may look like zone at the bottom, but it's actually what we call catch man. And when you play a dub stack, when you just play 2-player stack, same thing. You'll see them kind of line up like, okay, whoever goes outside, man coverage for me, inside man coverage for you. So let's see what the concept ends up being at the bottom. You had the flat. Yeah, it's a flood. So what they're looking to do is try to load up bodies over here, right? Now, we know the ball is already out. Obviously, DJ Moore has it. So to me, it looked like it was going to be a flood concept. Flat, out, corner, and this guy was probably going to sit underneath the corner so you could try to hammer something underneath. Now, let's take it back and watch what we're talking about with all this space. Once Eric Wilson has to go to his man assignment, again, this is man coverage, and we said it all year long. Probably nobody in the chat, but there were so many fans last year going, we want man, we want man, we want man. Here's man. And he's butt naked through the trailer park. Well, that's not the man. I want press man. I want this and that. Guys, you can, if you play press man and you play 2-man under and they hammer an out route, it may end up being a choice route, and he gets out of bounds, we're roasting him for the same exact thing. The one common denominator is man coverage. It is what it is. So, again, Cook, look at all that space, Tim. catches the ball at the 40, actually at the 39-yard line. And he's down. Now, someone said it's on Carrington for not letting him continue to run with the football. DJ Moore's already going down, guys. This is part of their plan right here. You could see DJ Moore. I know we're trying to pin this on CV as much as we can, but you could see, notice how DJ Moore doesn't cut up field. He catches the ball, turns, look, he's already going down.
Then get your ass on top of him and stay down. We know the clock's running. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what, this got to be a world record for ball spotting by the officials, by the way.
He was right on it, wasn't he?
Never, ever freaking see that.
Oh, man.
But, I mean, that you talk about situational football, know the situation. You just gave up the yardage. I mean, you got to get scrappy. We see teams do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Fall on them, lay on them, act like I'm tangled up, I can't get up. Meanwhile, 3-4 more seconds burn off that clock. You know, you got to do what you got to do to try and win a game. But, you know, hey, hindsight's 20/20, right? What are you going to do?
Yeah, right. I'm getting people messaging me saying there's a troll in the chat.
There is. His name's John. We could boot him, but I don't know. I think it's fun to see the chat roast him.
It is kind of fun to watch them.
Yeah.
We're letting the mob take care of it right now. You guys do your thing for a second, all right? We'll get them out of here in a minute. I'm like you, Tim. I like to glance down and see people raking them over the coals. Anytime I hear a fan say that a player's made of glass, like he just did, I'm like, I would pay money to see you say that to their face. Oh my God, it would be glorious. It would be a glorious thing to watch. But I'm sure John's in peak condition and ready for a fight, though. I guarantee you.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right.
He's definitely not made of glass, right?
Right. So, Tim, anything else you want to hit on this play? Again, I just want to point it out. And again, 3-man rush, that's tough. Now, I don't want to criticize a play call and not give you my answer. My answer would be 4-man rush, like you had been, right? And play some kind of a cover 3 zone defense. That's what I would play. And you can even play match. You can play match from a standpoint with outside technique. But I'm telling you right now, Caleb does not drop back, fire that slant if there is a backer sitting, if I can get my cursor up, if there's a backer sitting right over here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can take that quick slant away. You're still playing outside technique, even though this could have been a cover 3 zone. So it is what it is. And Caleb, it's not like a 4-man rush would have got to Caleb with a wide open slant anyway, right? That ball is actually coming out. One of the rare times it would, because there's only a 3-man rush. And this is a prevent defense. Last year, people were trying to say this is what Barry was doing. This was not Barry was doing. Barry was keeping things in front of him, right, and playing a whole lot of middle field close while doing it. This is a 3-deep shell prevent man coverage defense is what it is. That's what took me back. Like, why are we in a prevent man when they only need 10 yards to get the field goal? And again, I don't want to continue to beat a dead horse. Just want to, okay, there's John. He's just stating the facts. All right, John, everybody say quick salute to John.
Oh, wait, I wanted to know what facts he was stating. I didn't see
he's talking about the Watson's made of glass comments.
That's not a fact.
He's played more games than I think any other receiver on our team.
I know. So, yeah. So I didn't see any facts. I don't know what John's referring to as the facts, but it's all good.
So, he's like I said, he's played in 15 games this year. So, John, anything else, buddy? Any other parting thoughts here? I think this is good to give him the floor here.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. We should give him some time. He clearly wants attention this morning.
John, anything else, sir?
Where you at, John?
Okay, going once, going twice.
Bye.
You take care, bud. And matter of fact, we'll let Coach LaFleur handle this one. Let's do this right.
Sit your butt outside.
There you go. Joyce Martha said, I must have blocked John. Oh, well. Joyce is smart. Joyce is like, I'm not waiting for Clayton to block these knuckleheads. I'm going to go ahead and block them so I don't have to see their comments. But, all right, anything else on that play? We good, Tim?
Nah, yeah, get it off the screen. I don't want to look at it anymore.
In this trash. All right, so that's just so we're all caught up on Twitter there. Bang. Now, I want to go back to who was this? This is the Malik Heath catch. You know, there, believe it or not, there were some positives in this game. All right, this Malik Heath grab and this throw by Malik Willis is it's wild, man.
How do you not love the Malik to Malik connection?
Eminem connection, right?
Yeah.
Here's the guy.
41-yard bomb right here, and we're just going to roll with it on the screen as it is. But let's watch. Here we go. This is a thing of beauty. Malik Heath with the hand, and I love Malik Willis is like, screw it, I'm just going to chuck this thing up right now. Listen, this is not a great throw by Malik Willis. Let's be real here. Malik Willis is giving his guy a shot in one-on-one coverage. That's what he's doing. This is mostly Malik Heath. And what I mean by that is I don't think Malik Willis gets a positive grade from the coaching staff with this because the ball is kind of underthrown, right? And it's into coverage essentially. But Malik Heath, man, you just got to – this is all Malik Heath right here.
For sure. I mean, this is less terrifying to watch than the one he threw to Jaden Reed. That one was
no doubt.
That one was triple covered. But yeah, you're right. This is I think you're right. It's a little bit more Malik just making a play, but like you said, Malik Willis giving your guy a chance, right? Standing in there and not a great ball, not a terrible ball, but great wide receiver play from Malik Heath right there. And this is, you see plays like this. We were going back and forth during camp, and we were talking about Malik Heath making the team versus Grant DuBose making the team. And those two were kind of like neck and neck down the stretch. And Malik ended up winning that job. And you see plays like this and we know why.
Yeah, definitely. Again, just a heck of a catch here by Heath. All hands made it. Who was that? Was that Tyreek Stevenson that gets cooked there? I think it was. Yep. Yeah. Good old mouthy Tyreek Stevenson.
Really look at Malik. It's really his stutter step and timing when he's going to leave the ground to go up. A lot of times you'll see guys go up too early, and when they try to high point it, they're already coming back down. He catches this ball at the peak of his jump there. That's why it's a completion.
And I will say this about Malik Willis, man. He's tough as nails. That shot he took on that fumble, don't get me wrong, it sucks that he didn't see that. Now, I'm of the opinion that he's got it. That's on Malik on that specific play. I imagine he got a negative grade there because you've got to know that free runner's coming. That's on you. We know Tucker's in a leak, right? Now, on the broadcast, they're going, it's like Malik expected a running back to block there. I didn't see it that way. To me, it looked like the protection. Malik is not changing the protection. I promise you that. So the protection was called by Josh Myers. Malik knows what the protection is, as Myers calls out the mock. So that was on. I think that the defender that ended up blitzing Malik on that specific play, I think it was more along the lines of he kind of got hid behind the line, right? It's like he didn't see him coming. And you've got to know if that guy blitzes, he's free. You got to be able to look at your read, and if it don't come out quick, you got to take a glance. Okay, he's coming.
He didn't get his eyes over to that side. And if he did, he would have saw Tucker leaking. He probably would have threw that ball to Tucker Kraft after the chip and then the leak. But, yeah, I don't think his eyes ever got around on that one. That was tough to watch.
Yeah, and again, the one strength of Malik's game, in my opinion, is definitely his ability and willingness to stand in the pocket and take a hit. Because, boy, like right here, that's not an easy thing to do, to step up into this pocket knowing that defender's bearing down on you right here. I mean, that's pretty darn impressive. So, again, first round pick, or I want Malik on my team next year. I don't want him for anything less than a first round pick. Anything else you want to hit with that play there? Are we good, Tim?
No, I think we're good. Covered it.
Right, cool. Joseph with the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. He says, hoping to see Malik Heath get more solid hands, talking about more opportunities. It really is nice having him kind of in the hopper. Now, Tim, was it you that said you seen him as the boundary X? And I said I see more of Tay Wicks as the boundary X. Was that when we had
that conversation? Yeah, we were talking about possible changes to the receiver room. Yeah. And
after seeing this, and I see where you're coming from. Boundary X is typically a great route runner, create separation in the phone booth, right? But you also got to have strong hands. Tay Wicks has that separation. I feel like he's probably their top choice for boundary X, but the hands obviously been very, very iffy. If you took Tay Wicks' route running ability and Malik Heath's hands, boy, oh boy, would you have a hell of a boundary X. So I think that might be a battle in the near future if for some reason Romeo Doubs isn't extended next year. And listen, I'm not saying he will or won't be extended. I can understand the argument for both, to be honest with you, especially if he's looking for top receiver money. But I see what you're talking about with Malik Heath. I would be okay with him being the X as well, just because those strong hands, man. We've seen another touchdown catch last game too, right? Late in the game.
Absolutely. He
can catch a football. There's no two ways about that, man. So, All right, let's see here. What else we got in the chat? Anything else? There you go. Brambo, Clayton, it looked like Kraft chipped and went hot. Malik never even turned his head that direction. He definitely went hot.
Yep.
We know that it was a leak, right? It was supposed to be a chip and leak from the Y, Tucker Kraft. I'm with you, though. He got that head around quick. Like, you got to know where your hots are. And if you guys don't know what that means, it's real simple. If a defender, other than the front 4 or 5 that's on the line of scrimmage, is blitzing, then typically a receiver and a quarterback will be on the same page. Like your inside slot receiver, if he's got a corner on him, right, and that corner blitzes on a nickel fire, then typically they'll go hot, meaning as soon as that guy fires, you get your head around as you're running your route. That way Jordan's got a quick answer to the equation, or Malik has a quick answer to the equation, right? Same thing on that side right there. Even though it's a chip leak, he recognized that. Kraft gets his head around for the hot, and Malik didn't even look his way. So I'd say you could slow the tape down and see Tucker Kraft saying, look out, probably, because he did not see him at all. And listen, his ability too, man, Malik's ability, after he takes that hit, it was a split second, shake it off, and try to get on the football.
Yeah,
that
was incredible.
Yeah.
And his throwing arm took all of that hit. You watch that replay. I mean,
hand and everything, wrist, right?
How about the fact that Malik didn't fumble that ball? I don't think anyone's talking about that either. The fact that he actually held on to the football in that situation was pretty amazing.
Yeah, the one I'm talking about was the fumble, the blindside fumble.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're talking about a little bit later too, like when his hand hits that. That was the play. The Malik Heath play was where he hurt his hand, right? I'm mind boggled that he didn't get hurt on that blindside sack where the ball came out, because his hand was wrist and everything right there together, right?
Yep.
But we do know a little later after the Malik Heath on this play right here I'm pretty sure that's right. I've got it pulled up. I think that's where he hit his hand. Yeah, he hit his hand on the blitzer's helmet, and then they try to go for 2 after they score, right? And obviously Malik Heath couldn't even hold on the foot, or Malik Willis couldn't even hold on the football at that point. So, yeah. But all right, let's see here. Nick McSwain in the chat. Wicks has been more sure-handed lately. He has. He seems to be cleaning that up. And again, I felt like his hands were a lot better last year. It seemed like he regressed a little bit this year, but that happens sometimes, right? It happens. Yep. So, all right, man. Anything else, Tim, you want to hit on while we Nick McSwain said, I must have blocked a lot of people in here because there's people complaining about comments, and they're not even seeing them. That's good. Keep blocking, guys. I'm telling you. I do it on Twitter a lot, and boy, oh boy, is it made the Twitter experience way better for me. But yeah. Anything else you want to hit on here, Tim, before we get ready to wrap up? 52-minute mark.
No, I think it's a good point though. Like when you talk about the drop issues, I think people go, they go to the extremes. Every time a guy drops a pass, it's the end of the world apparently.
Right.
And if you notice, I don't care who it is, they kind of come in streaks. You'll have a good game and then you'll have a bad game, or we always talk about you're laying out, stretched out, trying to make a catch. It's a tough grab. I don't know if that's really a drop. To me, a drop is like the ball's in your hands and you drop it. It's kind of open to debate a little bit, but I think it's important to remember that you got to take these things 1 week at a time. And if a guy drops a couple crucial passes 1 week and then catches 7 out of 8 targets and the game-winning touchdown the following week, all should be forgiven. That's what football is. Consistency is key, but it's difficult to do that, and no game's ever perfect, right?
Yeah. Biz 1987 said, this show sucks. Don't block. We
heard it from a fan right here.
We all know this show sucks. All right. Wanted to hit this real quick when it comes to defensive leaders. Let's just take a quick gander since we were talking about where the team finished on the year. You can see this okay, right, Tim? Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, let's just show all players. This list might get a little bit. Yeah, here we go. So, yeah, run stops on the year. Adrian Cooper leads the team with 47 run stops on the year. All right. Isaiah McDuffie finishes second with 45. Quay Walker finishes third with 40. Rashawn Gary leads the defensive lineman with 39. And the closest one to him is Kenny Clark. So Rashawn Gary finished with 11 more run stops than any other defensive lineman. on our roster, all while only playing 58.4% of the snaps. So Rashawn Gary's run defense got significantly better. If there's one thing that you point to, why did the run defense get better this year? It's two players. It's Edgerrin Cooper and it's Rashawn Gary. There's no doubt in my mind. Probably Rashawn Gary, then Edgerrin Cooper, to be honest with you, because when a defensive edge defender can get that many run stops, I mean, that's doing some really big things. You want to know why he made the Pro Bowl? That's probably the number and probably the reason that he did. Not that anybody takes the numbers into consideration. And I know the Pro Bowl, you take it with a grain of salt, but that's the big thing. Without those run stops, you don't look up and go, wow, Gary actually absolutely dominated. So now when you go to sack leaders, let's hit it real quick. Gary finishes the sack leader for the Packers at 7.5 sacks. That's 2.5 more than the closest person to him, which was Devontae Wyatt. When you go to quarterback pressure percentage, you got to throw some of these out because obviously it's going to be skewed anybody other than edge defenders. Brenton Cox Jr. finishes with the highest pressure percentage at 13.7%. Gary's right behind him at 13.4%. Keep in mind, Brenton Cox Jr. only had 4 sacks. Gary finished with 3.5 more at 7.5 sacks there. Lucas Van Ness finishes the year at 11.2%. Many people will tell you 10% pressure rate is kind of that line of anything above that, you're a solid rusher. So really good to see Lucas Van Ness in that regard. His pressure rate going up. Devontae Wyatt finishes at 9.7. Kingsley Enagbare at 9.4. Listen, I think Enagbare, man, when he's on. But that penalty yesterday, that's a tough look. That penalty, you can look at that penalty and say it's just as much the reason that you lost that game as it is the 3 man out call, just to be honest. It was bad. And yes, did Caleb Williams put on a show and flail like he always does with his sensitive ass? Yes, he did. But you cannot grab that collar. You just can't do it. It's a penalty. That's why you don't see me complaining about that. Like
we've talked about that with Enagbare, right? That's kind of like if you had to put a knock on his game, it's like he's kind of the king of the boneheaded mistake after a great play. You know, you're chasing this guy down. Just finish that run, shove him out of bounds or something, or, you know, let him run, scramble out of bounds. We've seen a lot of that with JJ Enagbare this year. After the play kind of penalties, those sort of things. And, yeah, horse collar at the absolute worst time you could have it. So I think he cleans that up, though, as he comes into his own as a pro. You know, he's still a young player.
Right. And I see here, I just checked over on YouTube. I see everybody using the new emojis. That's awesome. So that is working. We'll continue to try to make it better for the people. We just want to add extra value to those who are contributing to the show, and we're going to try to do little things like that moving forward for sure. Maybe we'll get a picture of Jacob's left ass cheek with the tattoo on it, use it as an emoji too.
Hopefully not.
At least the design, right? So
yeah, I'm going to take Jacob's word for it if he gets the tattoo.
Right.
Saying exactly. That right now.
Since we get the defensive numbers pulled up here, we'll dive into some of this. Obviously, we're going to have plenty of time to do it once the playoffs do wrap up. But I wanted to – I don't know why it did that. That's absolutely wonderful. Cool. Show all players. All right, defensive leaders. That's what we're trying to look at. And then, of course, the whole thing resets. That's wonderful. All right. So, screw it. This show sucks. I was trying to get the passer rating when targeted. Trying to get the passer rating when targeted for the Packers. Let's see if we can get it to pull up real quick because I want to see exactly where everybody finished. I don't want to mislead when we're talking about Carrington Valentine. But here we are. These are all the Packers defenders. Let's sort by quarterback or passer rating allowed. Now, keep in mind, Robert Rochelle, Brenton Cox Jr., Omar Brown, those guys got significantly, less playing time, so it's not really going to matter. Look at Katano Ladapo, Tim. Listen, he played in 3 games, right? He played a total of 64 snaps. That is a really, really small sample size, right, for Ola Home Depot, but 39.6 passer rating when targeted. That's something to kind of perk your ears up a little bit. Like, all right. He didn't crap the bed, did he? He did not.
Yeah, let's see how he does against Philly, right? Because, I mean, we're probably going to need him again, probably lean on him a little bit. And I think he proved that he can hang out there at the very least, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And the other thing, Edgerrin Cooper is basically second on the team in passer rating when targeted at 57.1 passer rating when targeted. That is wildly impressive. That Cooper has a better passer rating when targeted than Xavier McKinney. And Xavier McKinney's is 59. He's next. Evan Williams, 67.5. Carrington Valentine leads the entire cornerback room with a 69 passer rating when targeted. That is 17 points better than Jair Alexander, the next one, at 77.6, which isn't a bad number. That's not a bad number at all. It's just showing you like Carrington seems to be the real deal. Zane Anderson, 79.6, albeit just 118 snaps. And then when you get down to the bottom here, Quay Walker, 100.9. Keyshawn Nixon, 101.2. So that would suggest. Now, keep in mind, some of Keyshawn's, I would love to see those numbers of him on the outside, because I'd say the majority of where he played the worst was in the slot. Keyshawn seems like an outside corner to me.
Which is crazy, right? It's like, let's rewind this time last year. We're like, keep him in the slot. He plays better in the slot. It's like exactly. He's been a boundary corner this whole time. We just didn't know it.
Yeah. So that's where you sit there now. Javon Bullard, been a big talking point this year, right? This is what we're talking about. Javon played, I felt like, pretty good yesterday. He makes chalk talk a couple times, making tackles for losses and stuff on those smoke screens. That's what he does well. He'll attack the football underneath. But, boy, you put him at safety or have him covering a deep route where he's on an island, it's not good. 124.5 passer rating when targeted for Javon Bullard. So
I'm telling you, he's a linebacker trapped in a DB's body. That's what it is.
And it's not a good place to be, right? Because, like, you're not going to – you know what I mean? Like, I think of people like Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams had all this hype around him coming out of college. And, boy, he's a thumper, and he'll get in there and he'll hit and all that. But, man, oh, man, as soon as the league realized, all you got to do is throw at him, he's cooked. That's when all his value went out the window. And, of course, the Jets.
So do you think when you're trying to develop Bullard then that you just work on his coverage skills in that slot position and just try to develop him as like a true shutdown type of slot defender?
It's spot on, because that's what the coaches are looking to do, especially getting close to the offseason, is you're going, okay, they do exit interviews, right? When they do exit interviews, typically what will happen with that exit interview is they'll tell the player, here's where we graded you out on the year. Here's how we see, you played. Here are the top 3 things we want you to get better at, and here's what we want your target weight to be when you come into OTAs. That's typically what is discussed there. Unless they're being told, hey, we're just going to cut you loose. Obviously, that's not going to happen with Bullard.
Right.
So, yeah, you're spot on, Tim. That's got to be the one thing that they go to him and go, all right, we need to get you on a program to work on coverage. Forget everything else. Let's focus on coverage.
And then maybe he is that guy. He's that slot corner we're talking about we need on this team. Maybe he's already here and he needs another year of development and we can move forward. I mean, think about it. If he showed up as the true slot, and we've got Jair back, or we don't have Jair back, and we've got Keyshawn and we've got CV out there, now we're looking pretty good. You look at adding depth behind him, because when it comes to safety, I feel good about Evan Williams. I feel good about KT Oladapo. There's some looks back there on the back end, but the slot is where I think we need that focus. And I think if Bull steps up his coverage, man, he could be the real deal there.
Yeah, definitely. So we had a question here, number one Packer fans. So is Carrington becoming that good, or is our corner room struggling that much? LOL. It has nothing to do with the other corners.
Yeah.
That's a statistic of him versus the opponent, right? Has nothing to do. Now, if you're saying, oh, he's just getting propped up because everybody else is so bad, that's not. Well, let's compare it here. Let's look. You may be right. Let's go qualified defenders only, and let's go passer rating when targeted across the league, and let's see where Carrington comes in at. McKinney at 59, right? So did Carrington not meet the requirement? Up there he is, 24th at 69. I'm wondering how they do this rating on here, because when you include all the DBs, I'm wondering if something shifts. But they have him as the 24th best at 69.0, right? And then you got Xavier McKinney up there at 59. So something definitely adjusted. Of course, we might have just got the latest game drop too. Could have been.
Could have been it, yeah.
Yeah. 69. So he's the 24th best defensive back. So keep in mind, you're going to see safeties here. And we know that because, look, Evan Williams is right above him, right? Xavier McKinney's up here. So this includes safeties as well. I'm sure we could go through like Kirby Joseph. He's a safety, right? Yep. Marcus May, I'm pretty sure, is a safety. Jabril Peppers is a safety. Jalen Mills has played both corner and safety, so he may be playing corner this year. I don't want to mislead you. Kalen Bullock, remember him, a rookie in the draft.
Yep.
He's a safety. Jaquan Brisker, safety, right? Pretty sure. I think he is for the Bears. Malik Mustafa, another rookie, safety. So, again, these include safeties. So what you should say here is starting caliber would be, you could say outside corners. You're looking at, roughly 120. Let's just call it 120 players of starting caliber. He's 24th. So it has nothing to do with the rest of the room struggling. When you compare it across the league, Carrington Valentine is a legit starting corner when you go passer rating when targeted. When you go PFF, guess what? Same thing.
Yep.
He's a starting caliber corner, a number one caliber corner. When I say starting caliber, that means you're in the top. That means you're in the top 64 of corners, right? He is legit a number one corner. At least he's played like it this year. Doesn't mean it's going to continue, but you got to call a spade a spade. You guys know too, Tim. I was critical of him last year. I love Kentucky, but Carrington does not look like a good football player. And lo and behold, this year he shut me the hell up. And I love it because go Wildcats. We suck right now, but go Wildcats.
And you love to see it too when you lose a guy like Jair. He kept us, alive this year by stepping up and playing at a high level. It's not easy to lose your number one corner for any period of time in this league and, not go out there and get lit up every Sunday. And, a lot of that is due to Carrington Valentine stepping up, in a big way.
Yep, no doubt, man. All right. I think we pretty much hit everything that we wanted to hit here. The run stops, we hit those. I think those are important. And we hit on sacks. Obviously, we talked about our sack leaders, all that good stuff. So, yeah, I think we're good here, man.
Nick Swain asked, how many snaps did Stokes get yesterday? Did we get the final count? I think it was like 6 or something.
PFF said 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So it's obvious that the Packers see it the same way we do. Now, we were saying it 2 weeks before the Packers gave him starting reps. But, again, we're not at practice. He could have not, might have been underperforming at practice in those games going out. I think Stokes is more ready than CV. Some guys are like that. Some guys they're practice players, boy. They shine in practice. And then you get in the game and it's just not there. So that's definitely a realistic aspect of football too. So, all right, that's it, Tim. I got a bunch of work to do. We've got 22 plays for Chalk Talk that I got to find and edit and all that good stuff. We may not finish with 22, but I feel like these are all warranted because they played a role in this game. Some people were going, Clayton, don't even take the time to do it. Because we didn't, we were missing 8 starters essentially. It was a game that had no implications whatsoever because Washington ended up winning their game. I understand that, but again, I still think it's a missed opportunity. When these playoffs wrap up, whether we win the Super Bowl or we get bounced in the first round, we're going to be looking for football. We're going to be going, man, when's the season start? So I really want to do this Chalk Talk just like the others, just so we can see what we can learn and see if we pick up on just how vanilla it might have been too. I think Chris Brooks, you're going to be excited about Chris Brooks, boy.
Oh yeah.
Hell of a game. That dude's real deal. Him and Emmanuel Wilson both. So
that dude is not just a pass blocker, not just protection and not just usable in the pass game. I thought Brooks carried the ball really well yesterday.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. All right, so just again, shout out to Drake Jackson re-upping his membership and Joseph Baca. I hope I'm saying that right. Bacha maybe. He's with the super chat there about Malik Heath. So, again, thank you all for supporting the show, supporting everything. I know the Patreon group's blowing up, which is awesome. You guys are going to want to be in there this offseason because I'm going to try to if it's at all possible, when I create the draft board, the earliest renditions of them, all that stuff, right? Any information we comb through during the offseason, before we even share it on the show, I'm going to try to share it in the Patreon group. So any data that we collect, anything that we do to put together, we're talking free agents and all that, I'm going to try my best to hold myself accountable that, hey, we're going to use that on the show. I'm going to fire it into the Patreon group. So if you're a member of one of those 3 tiers, it can be the cheapest. You still get access to everything in the Patreon group.
Right there, upper right hand, scan that QR code.
Or just go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access, and we'll make sure that you're in the giveaways and all that as well. Next week, we're going to be giving away an autographed picture, really, really cool piece of memorabilia of Carl Brooks blocking the field goal in that first meeting with the Bears earlier in the year. And it's autographed by him, dated, and it says "Da Block." So really cool piece of memorabilia that was donated from Trevor Anderson. We're going to be giving that away during the post-game show, win, lose, or draw against the Eagles during the wild card round. Tim, we need to hit this real quick. It's only take a second because we got it, and we'll talk about it more in depth later. But since we just mentioned all that, when is that game going to be played? Here is your wild card weekend schedule powered by Verizon. So you've got the LA Chargers on Saturday. There's 2 games. The LA Chargers go to Houston to play the Texans. That's a 4:30 kickoff. Then you've got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Baltimore Ravens. That's going to be on Amazon Prime. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff. That's going to be a hell of a ball game there, I think. Big rivalry. Mm-hmm. Then on Sunday, 1 o'clock kickoff, the Denver Broncos go to Buffalo. And then the Packers travel to Philly for the 4:30 game. And then the nightcap will be the Washington Commanders at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 8 o'clock on NBC. And then, of course, you'll have the Minnesota Vikings at the LA Rams, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Monday Night Football, ESPN/ABC. So, again, the Packers kickoff will be 3:30 Central Time on Sunday. So just like a normal Sunday schedule, that gives us a little bit more time to dive into this matchup. I'm excited about that. So we will be doing on that post-game show immediately following the game, we'll be giving away that autographed Carl Brooks picture. And then we'll probably just reset. I'd never heard from all three of the winners on the last one. So we'll probably just throw the Dorsey Levens autographed white jersey back into the rotation the following week or whenever we do our next giveaway. So that's another reason to be in the Patreon group. If you don't mess with Patreon, that's totally cool. And you want to be a YouTube member, that gets you into the giveaways as well. But again, I always recommend Patreon because you get more bang for your buck in there. And we're creating an awesome community in there too. It's a lot of fun. So Tim, anything else, bub?
No, go Pack, go. Beat Philly. Let's get ready to figure out what the hell happened yesterday and move on, right? Chalk Talk coming up. We're going tomorrow for Chalk Talk?
Yeah, tomorrow's Tuesday, right? Yeah. We'll have it ready for tomorrow evening, be Chalk Talk. And then Wednesday, we're bang, right on to Philly. So
awesome.
Yeah. So tonight what we'll do is the PFF grades. We'll hit all the PFF preview grades and everything, or review grades, see who performed, who didn't, that type of thing. That should wrap up the year too, minus the playoffs, of what everyone's grades are on the year. And we'll get a really good idea of, okay, here's the top 10 players according to PFF on the Packers offense, defense, and special teams. And then you start to construct your offseason blueprint on how do you want to build this roster. So we'll start to press into that more and more, seeing that we're in the playoffs. And obviously, as soon as the season wraps up, we'll go full-blown offseason mode. So, Tim, thank you for your time, bub.
Thanks for having me, Clay. See you tonight, man.
All right, bub. We'll see all of y'all at 7 p.m. Central tonight. Have a great day.
And we go.
We're out. Bye, guys.